Welcome to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill DeMent, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Hole in the Wall drywall repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Hey, Bill.
Morning, James. There are many adventures, are there not?
Absolutely. I'm excited. This is a high energy type of period for us. We just came back from a great experience at the IFPG retreat in Hollywood, Florida. And those who don't know what that is, because I didn't know what that was until just a few months ago, IFPG is a brokerage network where hundreds and hundreds of franchise brokers work within a pool of the system of the IFPG, where they then have a pool of businesses that they can then sell and share with their clients who want to buy.
Yeah, right.
Businesses.
And the brokers are one element that's at the group. You also have the franchise sales organizations, and there's some big boys, and I don't know how many I saw there, 6, 8.
Yeah, several. And we got a chance to kind of rub elbows with some amazing people where we're in the room with presidents of these major brand owners. And I tell you, it was humbling and exciting all at the same time.
Yeah, and the third piece is the third group that's at the IFPG are the actual franchisors themselves, the brands. And just to be in there, you know, I guess they would call us an emerging brand or even maybe micro emerging, but to be in there and just be able to talk with people from these large companies with decades of experience. Absolutely energizing.
Yeah, it's nuts. And frankly, I mean, we were there because of our growth in franchising. We have evolved. And I think we should do a podcast down the road, Bill, just kind of an update on where we have been and where we're going.
Yeah, I like that idea.
In our system, because things have shifted here at Hole in the Wall. And then this IFPG retreat was just, I think, the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be really a good conversation, just me and you talking with the energy of the the past week, where we can, I love the idea of franchising, and I love the idea of starting your own company. And I think there's so many misconceptions. There's so many different thoughts that people just don't have any idea why you would want a business or why start a franchise. And I just thought, we're in it. I mean, we've started businesses from scratch, and we are now franchising, so we can see it from kind of both sides.
No, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, you said it. We started from scratch, and in the past 6 months, as we've gotten to know more and more about franchising, the conversation has evolved to, I would never start a business that wasn't a franchise.
Absolutely, because I mean, the amount of work that we put in for the past 14 years, 10 years with me in the organization, it's immense to be where we are right now. But to be so successful, it takes a lot of energy and time. And I think back to the people who they may be afraid to start their own business because they don't know where to start. And that's what I love our podcast, because we get to kind of peel back, like we say in the intro, a little bit about business. And I think this is kind of one topic, because you should and can start your own business if you want to. There are so many people out there who don't want to return to the corporate office. There's so many people who don't want to go back to working for the man.
Well, we heard, what was the stat we heard about Amazon this weekend?
Amazon,
you remember that?
I believe, if memory serves me correct, that by January, over 1.6 million employees for Amazon have to return to the office. So 1.6 million people have to return back to the office at Amazon that were working remote. And what if 5% of them, just 5%, decide they don't want to go back to the office?
Yeah, that's 80-some thousand people, right?
Right. Just wanting to maybe start their own business or go someplace else. There's such an opportunity out there. I mean, we were just looking at stats now. I mean, there's so many new businesses have started. The growth in 2023 post-pandemic is 56.7% higher with new business starting than it was pre-pandemic in 2019, because people are just starting their own businesses. And so I kind of like to talk to kind of the maybe pros and cons and just benefits that we've seen, that we think that whether we start from scratch or not. And it kind of starts with, you need the idea that you want to start a business. You know what? I don't want to work for the man anymore. I don't want to
fire the boss.
Fire the boss. I want to be my own boss. I want to create And what kind of business do you want to create? Do you want to create a business that just pretty much pays your paycheck and you're good? Or do you want to build a very successful organization that hires multiple people,
Right.
that provides a service or a good? And maybe somebody has an idea. You know what? I'm really good at baking cakes. I'm going to start a cake baking business.
Mm-hmm.
Great, no problem. And so maybe that's a business that you start from scratch with, not a franchise. You just start from scratch because it's your concept, it's your idea. But then you got to go work that process. And it's going to take you several months, maybe even years to kind of break even, but you are your own boss.
Yes.
But what if you don't have that idea? What if you have the idea of starting a business, but you don't know what kind of business?
Well, this is what we're learning from the franchise brokers.
Mm-hmm.
They have people come to them who want to exit long time, corporate jobs, and they want to be in business for themselves, but they're not even quite sure. They would like to get into something maybe that's even completely different than they were doing in the corporate world.
Yep.
And that's where the brokers are helping to guide them through. Here's some options for you.
Yeah. And like, think about a military person who is coming out of active service. They don't necessarily want to go work in a corporate office or for the man. Maybe they want to start their own business, but they don't know exactly what kind of business. My friend Aaron, he came out of the Army and he met with a business, with a franchise broker, and he found a home inspection business that he bought. But that was one of many businesses that he was offered. If maybe you're in another country, like our friend Michael Batali with Wow One Day Paint, he's coming from Italy, and he wanted to start a business, but he didn't know what kind of business to start at all. So literally they offered him Marco's Pizza, a pool cleaning business, and a painting business, and he chose
the painting
business. And having the choice of that is great. And so where do you even find these businesses to even think about? Well, we used to go to franchise shows all the time.
We did a lot of them last year.
We did a lot. We did 5 of them, and they're all over the country, and they're usually in the spring and fall. And you can just walk a showroom floor with hundreds of concepts and ideas.
You can't imagine the variety too.
Yeah, I got a video on it.
You got home service stuff. You've got people that are doing medical stuff. You got marijuana businesses, coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee's huge.
Coffee's
we used to
big.
see tons of coffee offerings.
Shaved ice. You got food concepts, pizza concepts. I mean, there was an EV charger concept, at the last. So there's really a lane for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And where do you start? Like home care, healthcare, senior care, those are big.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that they're offering you a franchise. You can even buy a plumbing franchise, but you have to be a plumber to a licensed plumber.
You have to be.
Franchises help you.
Or have a plumber to qualify you.
A plumber to qualify you. We've got a friend of ours who owns a roofing company in town, and he bought a franchise. He was not in roofing.
No.
He was not in roofing at all, but he found a roofing company, and they got him trained. They got him a qualifier, and he's out there making money, thriving as a business, less than 6 months from starting his own company, selling and installing roofs because he bought into a franchise versus having to go to school, get your roofing
Oh, they
license,
just give you such a head
license.
start.
Yeah.
Such a head start.
Yeah, such a head start. And so I kind of wanted to kind of just talk through some of the benefits of, when you start your own business, some of the hurdles that we had to jump through. Obviously, you are investing your own money into starting a business, and you have to come up with a name. You have to come up with a concept.
Yeah.
And then thinking of what that name is going to be. Listen, it's not easy. I think we really got blessed with Hole in the Wall. But a lot of companies are out there. We've just talked to Andy. He had one name. He had a rebrand kind of midway through, and you can start that way.
And James, there's a specific cost to doing all that.
Yeah,
you're either a wise man once said, you spend what you have most of. If you have more time, you spend that. If you have more money, you spend that. But you're going to spend one of the two to get things going.
Right. And then thinking of a business, getting your website, getting your concept, picking out what colors you want for your logo. I mean, these are all things that you got to think about. And then you have to then go sell this business. You go sell your services or your brand, whatever that is. If it's cakes, then now you got to go to, maybe you're going to craft fairs, you're going to farmers markets, or you're trying to go sell those to private businesses. That's difficult, but very possible, and it happens very successfully all the time. Or you go buy a crumble cookie franchise, or you go buy a bang cookie franchise, or
expensive, but proven concept,
and you're making money out of the gate, and within 6 months to a year, you're now turning a profit. So what are some of the benefits that we're seeing? I don't want to limit it to just hole in the wall, but I mean, unfortunately, I have inside knowledge on what we feel the benefits.
Yeah,
are
and we
for
talked
us.
about this a couple of minutes ago as we were doing a pre-show. But one of the things that comes to mind for me is you are now doing, when you're in a franchise, you're doing a business that lots of other people are doing the exact same thing at the same time with you. And a lot of the franchises hold calls where franchisees are now able to share ideas with each other. And there's a real benefit in that. You're not having to go it alone. What if you have a troublesome process or a specific problem that you run into on a regular basis dealing with customers? Or what if your marketing isn't working quite right or whatever? But now you have a community that you can ask for answers from. And frankly, you may be able to offer answers to someone else in that community as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we said it before, and it's kind of an adage, but you're in business for yourself. You own your business.
Yeah, it's your business,
but you're not in business by yourself,
which is beautiful.
And so when you have the networking of support of multiple franchisees and your franchisor, now you're talking about you don't need to worry about coming up with everything by yourself.
Right.
So you find a business, you know what, I want to go into a certain type of business. What are the benefits of a franchise? And I think immediately they already have a process built. They already have the software you need.
Yeah.
They already have the infrastructure for a thriving business ready for you. And when you buy into a franchise, and listen, it's not that expensive to buy into a franchise. To find out that you can buy into a hole-in-the-wall franchise for less than $100,000, that includes your training, that includes your vehicle, that includes your tools, that includes
you're ready
marketing.
to start doing business.
You're ready to start making money right away. I mean, heck, I didn't realize. I think of franchising. I think, well, I got to go spend $1 million and buy a McDonald's. Well,
I don't even think $1 million will buy you a McDonald's.
You're probably right.
Honestly,
you know, I know crumble cookies very expensive. They are
millions. Expensive. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. But so now you're in this and you have help. Banks want to give you money because you're buying into a business versus starting one from scratch. Whether it's small business, maybe you've got a 401k, the corporate job you had, you can roll that money over and finance your own business with your own money and pay yourself interest. And so you're now starting a business with your money that you've already saved for your retirement. And so you already have that already built. And then that comes with all the support you need to start the business, from starting with the name, with getting your EIN number, with making sure your LLC is all dialed in, getting some financing in order. All that is helped because the brand, whoever you're buying into, helps you with that. And then you're ready to go. Did you know that there are over 140 million homes in the U.S.? 97% of them have walls and ceilings that are built using drywall. The drywall repair industry is simply enormous, valued at over $13 billion a year. We're hole-in-the-wall drywall repair. And for years, we have been perfecting the art of repairing drywall, developing and refining our systems, and strengthening our brand. Our business model is simple, scalable, and easy to learn. We believe it's a real game changer. We are successful drywall repair pros who decided to take our repair business to a higher level, growing both our franchise training and support to industry-leading standards. You'll benefit from our vast experience helping your franchise hit the ground running and achieve success quickly. We'll give you access to our marketing team that has created strategic programs designed to get your phone ringing and booking new business fast. Join a fast-growing leader in an exciting dynamic segment of the home service industry by franchising with hole-in-the-wall drywall repair. Start building your own business and securing your own financial future today.
Yeah, and you kind of skipped over it really quick there, but the brand can help you with financing.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, every business needs capital.
Yeah.
And if the brand can help you, then woohoo. Again, makes life a little easier.
Go get a small business loan without a business plan, and you won't get a loan.
You will not.
But you buy a franchise, they already have a plan. We know what it's going to cost and how much it's going to take to start that business. And then you go to training, and then you spend however much time, whether it be a week, 2 weeks, a month. I mean, there's a garage door company. They have 8 weeks of training just to learn how to install garage doors, right? Doors. But you figure now you get trained not only on how to do whatever the service or product is, but now you get trained on how to actually run that business.
Right.
Okay. So now you become an expert in your own business within just weeks. You're now a business owner. And then you have ongoing support. So as you grow and as you run into struggles, the brand is there to help you.
Yeah.
If you're buying a brick and mortar store, you're opening a Wolfgang Barkery, then they help you find the real estate. They have real estate agents to help you. They help you get the funding for that. They help you do the build out inside your building.
And if you don't have experience doing that stuff, James,
yeah,
it's like they speak a different language.
Mm-hmm.
They're from a different planet. These guys that do construction and build outs, it's just that it's invaluable to have that help.
And they've done it over and over again. So it makes it easy for the franchisee to get up and running fast. I've got a friend of mine who owns a tanning business, and the build out took 6 months. If he was doing it by himself, it would have taken him years.
Yeah, and he's got to capitalize that to pay for it as it's happening, and all the other things he's got ramping up.
Absolutely. Luckily, he bought a franchise, so it was easy. So I love what you said earlier. So it comes with the training, it comes with the ongoing support, but it also comes with part of building a community. We talked a lot here in this podcast about not doing business in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
When you're starting your own business from scratch, sometimes it could be a very lonely place.
Absolutely.
And when you're a new business owner, you're now thinking, well, I got to start my own Facebook page, and I got to get my own brochure made, and I got to have all that marketing collateral.
You got to be motivated. You have to be a self-starter. And you know what? It's not always easy to do that 365 days a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and being able to get up every day and run that business and having to think about running it and creating it and building it at the same time, that's exhausting.
Oh,
and listen, we did it. We know. We knew from the beginning, and you knew from the beginning that you reached a saturation point where you just couldn't do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I kind of came on board. But even being able to grow the business into a thriving business, you want to protect yourself from litigation. You got to make sure you copyright your logo, right? You want to make sure you have a brand that no one can steal. You want to make sure that you have all of your partnership agreements dialed in if you've got a partner or not. And what happens to that business if you aren't going to be around forever, right? Can you sell this business? You want to start with a sellable business, or do you want to start Joe Blow's, fried chicken, or do you want to start something that's really reputable that you can then have an asset to sell? So thinking about all those things ahead of time really allows you some freedom, and franchising gives you the freedom because you don't have to start at the beginning.
Well, and you just caused me to think franchising causes you to think of the business as a beginning, as a middle where you're running the business, and then a franchise also gives you an exit. So if I'm a young man and I just want to start my own business, which is what I was many years ago, I never thought the first time about what does an exit look like.
Yeah,
I was well into the middle before I thought, I wonder if my sons are going to grow up and want to have any interest in running this business.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with this business when I'm done with it? I have a friend now who runs a pest control company, and he's probably 70, and he's entertaining offers, but the offers he's getting, he's going, might be just hang on a couple of more years and keep running it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that aspect of the franchise where they're going, here's how you start it. Here's what it looks like in the middle. Here's how you grow it as much as the energy you have. And here's how you can sell it at the end, because it's already a fully formed entity with a known name and a known value, easy to determine. And there are people that we met this weekend that specialize in reselling franchises.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the other one of the last benefits, I guess, of a franchise is if you own your own business from scratch, you then have to go to a business broker, and that broker then tries to find you a purchaser of your business. The brand has people coming to them by the hundreds of years. And if I've got $1 million to invest in a business, why would I start a brand new franchise if I could buy your franchise for a few million?
It's already been running for 25 years, and it's established.
It's already established. Yeah. I met with somebody at this retreat, and then this lady was a resale expert, and she actually sold, I believe it was a Mr. Rooter franchise, not a franchisor, but it was actually just a territory, I believe in Georgia, maybe Atlanta, and it ended up being like a $130 million purchase.
Oh my!
So whoever that franchisee started a company years ago grew this.
He had a big exit, didn't he? Yeah,
and he was able to exit. So it's not someone else's company that you're buying; it's your company, and it's an asset that then you can then sell. And frankly, you had to pivot early in the game. You were DeMent painting and drywall.
Yeah.
And you pivoted knowing that, well, I can't sell DeMent painting. Then you launched Hole in the Wall. And now, because of that, you now have an entity that we down the road can then sell as an asset because it's actual.
Well,
business.
and I don't know if you realize this, and I don't know if I've ever said it out loud, but one of the reasons I pivoted was the same reason that a drywall repair franchise is a better buy than a painting company. Mm-hmm. I had a painting company and we stayed busy.
Yeah.
But there were so many competitors in it. Mm-hmm. And the franchising space is exactly the same way. There must be dozens and dozens of painting franchises. There are just a handful of people doing drywall repair work. So the competition is so much less.
Yeah, and anybody with a pickup truck and a paintbrush thinks it's their painter. So your competition is very high. And frankly, homeowners like to paint. And so you're in competition with the homeowner,
you're always in competition with them. That's right.
Yeah, no, good choice, Bill.
Yeah,
fabulous
thanks.
choice.
No, I always thought so.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think if you're thinking about firing the boss, if you're thinking about shifting careers and changing, I would pause and give a good look at purchasing either an existing business or purchasing a franchise, because we say here's that you're starting on second base. You're not necessarily starting on first, trying to swing and hit the ball. You're already hit the ball and you're on second base, and then your franchisor is your third base coach.
Yeah,
calling you home, making sure that you can score.
And those other franchisees are nice teammates and cheering squad for you.
Right. So let's just think, where can people find information on a franchise? Well, I dare say Google's probably your first place to start. Look online. Okay. There are a plethora of websites where franchises spend thousands of dollars advertising that they have a business for sale. Franchise Gator, franchiseopportunity.com. You just Google, you'll find franchise opportunities. If you are specific, you want to look for home service franchise, or you want to look for baking franchise, be very specific. Entrepreneur Magazine has a list of the top franchises and the top franchise categories you can look at and find a business there. And then you can reach out to a franchise consultant, reach out to one of these. There's multiple groups that are out there. We are part of the IFPG, we're a part of the FBA, and we're part of the Entrepreneur Source TES. But there's so many other ones that are out there.
And any one of those brokers would be thrilled to talk to you.
And those brokers will talk to you and figure out, well, what are you good at, where you're at. And then they know that the franchisor, we have an avatar for our perfect client. And so we train them on what to go look for our candidate. Yeah. So they can really hone you into the style of business you like and that one winning successful business.
Yeah, right.
So I hope that was a good conversation. I thought
it was a good topic, man. It's just top of mind for us this week.
I know, and really kind of unscripted. We're just kind of just having the open door conversation with Bill and I. But we're driving to and from Hollywood, and just the excitement of the week and meeting some amazing people. It really allowed us to kind of look back and kind of, grin at what we've created.
Very energizing experience.
And to see where we're going, it's pretty funny. It's just pretty funny how God has just kind of placed all these steps at the right time in our lap. So very happy about it. Listen, folks, there's a lot more franchising information coming on this podcast. We just have so much information, we can't help but share it. So hopefully you're
bursting at the seams, aren't we?
Bursting at the seams. And frankly, we're going to have some amazing guests. We met so many people that all are amazing and are all going to be guests on our podcast.
Yes, I love that.
To share. So
I love it.
Well, good deal, Bill. Thanks for the conversation.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Until next time, thanks, everybody. We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Hole in the Wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.